Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Talk Comics to Me. It is the Hood edition.
Yes, we're both greasy today.
We're greasy and gross because that's how we live our lives, and that's totally fine. You can live your life that way, too. Just have the confidence of two mediocre people.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to diss you.
No, I mean, like, it's accurate. I was, like, upset that you dissed yourself like that.
Anyway, we're Talk Comics to Me. I'm Champ Champenstein.
I'm Heather.
And we're gonna, I suppose, talk about comics, because Heather has to work soon, and I have a fuck ton of comics.
Yeah, so we're just gonna, like, blow right through these. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, I still want you to go first.
Okay. So I have this comic. It's called Black Stars Above. This is a vault comic. It's one of those Nightfall vaults, so it's like a horror. It is. It's a horror.
It's a horror.
So
I'm gonna move closer to you.
This is the first issue, and I can't remember if this is like an ongoing or just like a limited, but regardless, I really enjoyed it. It is about a girl and her family in northern Canada in like the late 1800s. Her family are fur trappers. The business is kind of not doing well, considering people don't really want muskrat pelts anymore.
I don't know why.
So I don't know why either. So
seems unreasonable, honestly.
So her father is marrying her off to a like local boy, and she obviously doesn't want to because she's a woman of her own accord. So yeah, she goes into town to try to sell the pelts, and she runs into a man that has a package, and he offers her a bunch of money to deliver it into the woods. She agrees, but the one condition is like, he says, do not open this package. I'll know if you open this package, and I won't give you your money. And, you know,
she opens the package.
Kind of, but not by choice. It's a really weird story. So it's listed as like a cosmic horror because the one thing that is consistent throughout this is this black star. When the man like gives her the package, he says, "May the black star guide you," and she's like, "The fuck does that mean?" It's weird. So when she finds out like her father's gonna marry her off, she runs away to deliver this package, and she gets lost in the woods. Something weird is going on out in the woods. There's like a huge storm that wasn't supposed to hit, and when she looks outside of her tent that she makes for herself, there's a huge black star in the sky, and the package starts making noises.
That's a lot.
So yeah, it is kind of a lot, but it's done in such a way that it's not like overwhelming either.
Yeah,
like it flows very, very well. And there is like a narration in this, but it's not speaking necessarily. It's her journal entries. So you kind of get a look into her as the story is like progressing, whereas like the rest of the story you see like what's going on outside of her. So yeah. I really enjoyed this. I think the art is really cool. I'm a fucking slut for any book that takes place in the late 1800s, so this was nice. Yeah, Black Stars Above.
Just a fucking slut for these types of books.
I am. See, I honestly, there's like a DC book that Daphne something or another that I only got because it was like Victorian 1800s, and I was like, sold. Like, I don't even care. I'll read it.
Okay, this is not the same. This won't be not a slut.
All right, I guess.
This is Craig Thompson's Ginseng Roots. This is issue number 2. This is just kind of about Craig Thompson's childhood working on ginseng plant farms. So this issue focuses on his family, and he's going back home to kind of interview different farmers for this book, and it's kind of just talking about how he's deciding to like round out like doing this book itself mostly.
And if I remember correctly, you said it takes place in the United States, correct?
Yes.
Is his family, did they immigrate from
no
somewhere?
They're just
okay. I just didn't know because, you know, I don't know, they don't look American. I just didn't know if it was like his story with like immigrant parents and like
no, they are white people who live in like Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
There's a large like I believe it's in Wisconsin, a large farming community that farms ginseng there.
Okay.
So it's huge, and it's like really, really big. It's kind of how the whole town makes all of their money, because that's basically what the entire town is.
Okay.
You're being dumb.
Yes. Yeah, I am.
So
I'm just a mediocre person.
So I really enjoy this book just because it's interesting to kind of delve into somebody else's life a little bit, especially via like a comic like this, and especially like this issue. Like I said, it's really interesting because it is a lot of conversations between like his mom and his dad and his brother and his sister, and then they go and interview, or his brother and him go and interview some farmers they used to work for, and talk about like how ginseng affected their lives and such as well. So it's interesting.
I love ginseng. I still have all those ginseng candies that like Max.
Yeah, no,
Max
I still have them too. Yeah. I have a
delicious.
shit ton. Yeah, Max. So then next I have Far Sector. This is issue number 1, and this introduces a new Green Lantern. Honestly, I pulled a U and I forgot to look up her name before getting into this.
Here, you talk about it. I'll find it because I also want to know.
Yeah, so she is in this, or on this planet that hasn't dealt with any sort of murder or I guess crime really in a very, very long time, like hundreds of years. And she gets called to like basically she's been called to be a Green Lantern on this planet, and the first Green Lantern this planet has ever had. So all of this is kind of just snowballing into a lot of mysteries of what's happening on this planet and why these murders have started taking place. So I highly suggest this book. It was really, really interesting. It gave you a really interesting delve into the characters, and especially the main character. I don't know. Art was really, really fucking good, though. That's the main thing I took out of this was the art was amazing. And the voices were really, like, really well done. Like, you could very much, like, feel... No. Okay. That's her.
Oh, okay.
You could feel the voices of the characters that came through, like, very intensely, and you kind of felt who they were, like, immediately. I'm sure I could just look this up really quick.
Yeah, there's so many different names, and since I didn't read it, like, I'm sorry, I was trying to help.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't think I can just look back. I was supposed to do it before you came over and before we started doing this, but I forgot because I am... a doofus. I'm just a straight up mediocre person.
Yeah, we're just mediocre. It says the artist is the one who did Naomi. Isn't that why like Naomi was really good? Like I know it was a hit, but I just don't understand why.
Okay,
because I didn't read
her name is Jo.
That's so okay.
Actually, it's Sojourner Jo Mullen.
Okay,
so
that makes sense. I was like looking at all the other names in there, and it was like Season and all those fucking cool names, and then I was like Jo. But Sojourner makes more sense. Yeah. I like that.
I also forgot, as I was looking at this, one of the main parts of this and how there hasn't been any crime on this planet is because they took away the ability to feel from everybody.
That sounds sick.
So, whoops. But it's okay.
Man, I would love to not feel.
Okay.
Hi, we have Ronan Island.
This is Ronan Island. This is issue number 8.
Mm-hmm. So Kenichi and Hannah get away from the Shogun, and they are trying to get back to the island to warn the people that they are heading towards them and going to get killed.
That's right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They're dealing with a lot of kind of stressful feelings, Hannah especially, because she kind of took out the one guy on the Shogun's side that was like, she grew to really like him.
Yeah.
But couldn't, deal with what he was doing. But yeah, oh my God, I still really love this book.
Yeah, no,
it's so sweet.
That was one of the things as I was reading this book. There's just like so much internal struggle and just like sadness almost going on. And it was just really, I don't know. The story's really, really, really good.
And I still really like that they're children doing this because, I don't know, they were forced to grow up and like, as we had mentioned previously, like Kenichi and Hannah, they are from like 2 different sects on their island, but they're brought together time after time because of these events that are happening, and they have to deal with them together. And I don't know. I just think it's really sweet.
Yeah, I think
they're kind of forced to be friends, but then they just always kind of navigate back to each other.
Yeah, I think too, just their common goal of like protecting their home is one of the more important things to them. We'll see as things continue too.
Yeah. Apparently, this is only going to be 12 issues.
Okay, that also makes sense.
Yeah. I looked that up, and I don't know if that was what it was always supposed to be, or if they just recently decided that, because I just noticed it in the new previews that it said 12. So it's almost done, and it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, you could trade it, pick it up and trade. It's worth it.
Definitely worth it.
Oh, you can go.
Me?
Yeah, go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have Reaver. This is issue number 5. This is ongoing, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not realize. I thought it was just going to be 5 issues, but I'm actually kind of glad that it's continuing, because this ends on another fucking cliffhanger. So in the last issue, the dude that everyone thought was going to betray them ended up betraying them, but also like not really betraying them, which you find out in this issue.
All right.
He does it to like distract them.
Okay.
It's very kind of difficult to explain, but like the guy who betrayed him is kind of distracting them while the Berserker is going through, like, killing all the soldiers and stuff. And the Berserker has this really fucking good, like, monologue about death and destruction, and how if all of these people that were freed from the prisons in the castle that they're at now, like, if you follow me, you will die, but at least you know, that what you're doing is right. You're avenging everything that had happened to you. He says, if you want to leave, there's the door there, but you must know that is also death, and it's a coward's death. It's so good. The Berserker ends up, like, being my favorite. But yeah, he just is annihilating people. The Skin Eater is annihilating people. And the 2, I want to say almost like warlocks that are trying to lead him to the anvil to destroy it. The one that you think is the leader is not the leader. They're just being used as a puppet by this other. It's very interesting. I really enjoy the different characters, how fucking, I don't know, they clash all the time on different things, and like the appropriate way or the right way to do things, because the guy on the cover here, he always does things by the books, and everyone else that he's with is like chaos.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. I guess I'm very excited that this is continuing, and I really don't want the Berserker to die, but I feel like he's going to be dying soon.
Okay. I have Batman's Grave. This is issue number 2. There's lots of punching in this book.
Always punching with Batman.
There's so much punching in this book. There's like 1-2 pages just full of a fight scene. Batman catches the man who came out from underneath the bed, and he wants to eat Batman's face.
The boogeyman?
And they find out he used to be a hitman, and he was lobotomized, and so he's just kind of been like wandering around until he got to Gotham. But then there's kind of just like another layer of something else going on, and that's the end of the issue.
Okay.
Very, very detective Batman.
Was it, because the way that you explained it made it feel more of like not necessarily a filler, because it did carry the plot a little bit, but was it kind of boring despite the punching?
I would say boring. That's not the right word.
Okay.
It's like, it's interesting enough to keep my attention.
Okay, that's good.
I'm curious. It introduces like a mystery where you kind of want to know what happens. And I kind of like Alfred's kind of just like an asshole to Batman. So that's something I like.
Okay. I like that too.
Just basically like making fun of him for being a rich dude punching like poor people.
Nice. Go Alfred.
All right. So the next I have Family Tree. This is issue number 1. And this is Jeff Lemire and Phil Hester's new book. I don't know.
You don't know?
I can't give a very strong opinion right now.
Can I see it?
Yeah,
because
for
that
sure.
was the one that I decided not to get.
I did.
Everyone was like stoked on it.
Yeah, I like the art, and I'm curious.
Great.
I'm curious about where the story will go, because it's the narration is how they've been in the end of times, or how the world is ending, and no, it didn't end how they thought it would end. And it's also telling the story of this family and like kind of this single mother who's trying to just get through life, and her son's just like a fuck up at school, and her daughter's like come down with like a rash, but she doesn't know what it is. And so yeah, it's I don't know, there's a lot there.
Like any Lemire book?
Yeah, so it's cool.
Okay. Is it like Batman? Is it interesting enough that it makes you want to read the next one?
Oh yeah, and I think it's
okay.
There's also just like an element of like almost like kind of like that body horror to it as well, where I want to know what this disease is and what's like why it's happening, I guess is the best way to put that.
Okay.
It's I think if you like any sort of body horror, like any sort of, I feel like if you like Jeff Lemire, it'd probably be a solid choice.
Yeah, and the art is really good.
Yeah, the art is, of course, yeah. Then next, a book we both have is Folklords. Heather has hers. Don't.
Here it is.
This is a book by Matt Kint and Matt Smith.
Okay.
And Chris O'Halloran.
Matt Smith, as in like
not the
not
doctor.
Okay.
I would assume not Doctor Who.
Okay.
But I mean, I didn't look into it.
I didn't either. I saw it and was like, it's Doctor Who. Yeah. What is he, like the 12th Doctor? 13th? 14th? 11th?
13th?
No, it would be the 11th. No,
because 9
was Eccleston.
10 was Tennant. So then 11 yeah.
I've never even seen the show, guys. I've only seen like one episode from the 9th Doctor because I love Billy Piper and I love Chris Eccleston.
Okay.
That was it. I just wanted to let everyone know I've never seen Doctor Who. People reference it all the time because I feel like they think I watch it and I don't.
I wouldn't honestly think that you watch Doctor Who.
Thank you.
Not at all. Like,
thank you.
I wouldn't look at you and be like, yeah, this is the nerd who watches Doctor Who.
Thank you, because my little sister did that one time, and I was like, I have never watched Doctor Who in my life. Why are you talking to me like I know what this is?
But also, like, I know that you haven't watched Star Wars.
That's true.
And I'm assuming you haven't watched Star Trek.
Oh, I've watched Star Trek.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like an interesting, like, I don't know.
I think it was one of those things, like what I told you yesterday. If anyone tells me oh, you'll like this, I just don't watch it because it makes me mad.
I also wouldn't assume that you would like Doctor Who. I would say that there are some episodes that you would like. I would say it's worth watching. Mm-hmm. It's a good time. Some of it.
Okay.
And we digress.
Yep. Sorry, guys. We just went on a little thing.
Okay. I actually have to talk about 2 more books.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Folklords. We just got so distracted by Doctor Who. Oh, my God.
Okay, Matt Smith, why are you doing this? Okay, so Folklords. This is the first issue. This is a series about a boy named Ansel who... Ansel. He's in the town that they live in. Is it on their 18th, or is it just every year?
It seems like every year. It doesn't seem like they have an age, necessarily.
Okay. They have to, like, go in front of the town and say, like, a quest that they're going on. And it's... Some of them are, like, mundane, like, I'm gonna find a golden egg, like, that kind of thing. He has been having these visions or dreams of, like, modern day life, essentially, because he keeps wearing a suit and everyone's like, what the fuck are you wearing? The quest that he wants to go on is the quest to find the Folklords because he thinks it'll help him, like, get to our time. Mm-hmm. Folklords are not supposed to be mentioned because the fascist regime within this world called the Librarians call a halt to anything that has to do with the Folklords. So there's obviously something more with the Folklords that they don't want you to figure out.
Well, and also it seems like everything's really chill and, like, until they say the Folklords, like, out loud during the quest talk. So.
Yeah. So his friend ends up saying it. Librarians shut that whole thing down, and they end up going on their own quest anyway, like leaving at night when no one can stop them.
I don't know. I'm very interested in the narrator.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, like, what's going to happen with it because I want to know who the fucking Folklords are.
Yeah, well, it's just like it's such an interesting idea to put together, like, this boy lives in a fantasy world, and he's trying to find basically the people who write them. That's like what I'm understanding from this, and I just like the way it might like twist and turn, or like even the idea that like, is he writing his own story? Did they like get out, and that's what he's writing now?
I really like the idea of it like being this whole fantasy world, but them being like sheltered in a way, which I think is also kind of funny, because like in fantasy it's like endless possibilities, and it's like, no, the librarians of all 30 people are going to shut you down. Dog. You're not allowed to learn about this.
I feel like that happens in a lot of fantasy though. Like the more educated groups of people like seem to have, like the scholars take this like fascist idea and they're like, this is how you'll go on with life.
Yeah.
But, you know, what do I know?
We're just mediocre people.
Just mediocre people doing a podcast for you to listen to. So now I'm going to go on with my mediocre talk. And I don't know what order I put these in. This is History of the Marvel Universe. This is issue number 5. And this goes over basically everything that happened in the early 2000s. Civil War, Incredible Hulk, Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, the Scarlet Witch killing everybody, just anything you can think of happening in the early 2000s. That is all in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you still really enjoying this?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I have kind of just started flipping through the annotations because there's so much just like goddamn information there. And I don't know, I think more than anything I like the art a lot. And
it's really good.
And it is interesting kind of getting just like such a condensed version of all of like the Marvel universe, especially kind of stepping into it now and not necessarily having like that familiarity necessarily. Yeah. So
it's cool. I've been meaning to pick them up. Do you know if they're doing a trade?
Oh, for sure. I'm
just gonna grab the trade then.
I'm gonna make an assumption that they are.
Yeah. I thought they would too. They usually do for anything, but it's I don't know, it's the history of the Marvel universe, so I just thought, I don't know, something might be different with it.
Yeah, no, I would make that assumption.
Okay. I'm gonna get the trade.
And then next I have Runaways, and this is issue number 27. And this is last issue, if you remember, the group hooked up with Doc Justice, who is just some random superhero from Los Angeles, and they decide to start fighting crime with him. And this issue, they all get suited up for costumes, and there's a really great scene where Nico is just like, I don't want like an arm gun, because like Chase has a giant arm gun.
I would love an arm gun.
And so like they put her in like something skimpy, and she's just like hates it, and then they put her in something else that's like spandex, and she's like, don't you have like anything else? And then they put her in like just a cat suit and like a cloak. It's wonderful. I related very hard to it. It was perfect. Yeah, my life. If I try to wear something sexy, I might die.
Yeah, that's
my skin might just like, erupt into flames.
Anytime I try to do that, I'm like, okay, this looks nice. I'm just going to throw a bunch of bones on. Sexy and deadly. Or just dead.
Just going to throw a bunch of bones on. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But no, Runaways, once again, always a really good read. I have a good time.
And if you're a fan of Rainbow Rowell, tonight she is doing a book reading questionnaire thing, 6:30 p.m. at some middle school. I can't remember. I can't remember what.
I thought maybe you had remembered, then that's why you were saying it. I was like, oh shit, she like got this information.
Well, I'm a failure. It's at 6:30. She's doing a book reading thing I think in partnership with the Bookworm, for her new book Wayward Sons. So
you find out where that some middle school is, and
it's posted on her Instagram. In her stories. I just can't. I didn't look at it this morning. Like, I looked at it a few days ago to make sure I had the day and the time right, but I forgot to check out what school it was, so I'm sorry. It's tonight.
It is tonight.
It is tonight, and I forgot to have someone cover it for me, but it's not a big deal, whatever.
Just somebody cover her shift, okay? Could you just do that for us?
I'm just going to write down a bunch of questions so the next time she comes in, I'm going to be like, Rainbow, I have some questions I wasn't able to ask you.
It is at West Side Middle School.
Okay. Yes.
That's 8601 Arbor
Oh my God,
Street.
and I was wrong. 6 o'clock p.m. I'm so sorry. It said 6:30. You would have missed out on a half an hour of fucking good questions.
All right, so now we have Invaders. My little mine over here, too.
Here's Invaders. This is issue number 11, and this is the issue before the last issue of the series.
Which bums me the fuck out.
Yeah, I really enjoy this one, and it's so stupid, like, how much I enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, no, it's one of the books every, like, week when it comes out. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm totally stoked to read Invaders and see, like, to see what happens.
I'm not gonna lie, when I was reading this last night, I took little Namor out of his box and sat him down next to me, and every
Just,
time...
like, bobbled his head.
Yeah, every time he said something about being human, I was like, ting! It was great.
I love this issue. Namor forgot how to swim, apparently.
He just... the powder or the gas that was used at the beginning of like the series that turned the humans into water folk got reversed somehow. So he is not able to swim. He can't breathe underwater. Essentially, he is just a human right now, and he's pissed.
Yeah, not happy.
He's very upset. So him and Cap are stuck on this island together, and Captain America's trying to get him to like remember who he was like during the war, when they were friends. And again, Namor is just mad. He's like, you can't understand where I'm coming from because you've never been a prince or a king or whatever. Yeah. You've never had to take care of like all these people. Cap gets pissed. That was my favorite part when he slams
a tree.
Yeah.
Captain America poses like some very great questions to Namor and just trying to make him take responsibility for just not necessarily everything that's going on, because I think he is separating the idea that Mashan wasn't actually Namor. Mm-hmm. And once he kind of gets a hold of like why Namor won't do the things he needs to do, he just kind of levels it out and it's just like, dude, this is your fault. And you have so many more people to protect.
Right. Yeah, because Namor just kind of tries to not necessarily push the blame onto anyone else, but he tries to like, this isn't my problem anymore.
Yeah,
this is your problem.
But
Steve gets pissed.
Yeah, once again, an old man comic. If you like, I don't even know, like war shit, I guess.
Yeah, it is really war-y. Steve, I noticed it's mostly Steve that always like references, like when there's flashbacks, it's because of Steve. He's always, like, looking back to, like, hey, this is what happened back then, as a way to, like, try to get Namor to, like, I don't know, reconcile his feelings and stuff. But it's definitely an old man comic, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think you really have to be familiar with, like, any past Invaders things to, like, read this, because I had no idea anything about Invaders.
Yeah, and they reference it in such a way that they give you as much information as you actually need. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you really don't have to, like, know anything previously about it, because this is my first, like, Invaders thing as well. And I understand what's going on, so.
All right, so next we have Sea of Stars. This is issue number 5.
Yes, not the last issue.
I think the next issue should be the last issue then?
Well, this is the end of the first story arc.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Because it says Volume 1, the trade comes out January 2020.
Oh, I didn't even read that.
Yeah.
Damn, dudes. Okay, so then I guess the next issue isn't the last issue.
Yeah.
So this just... Caden and his dad find a way to each other after all of this time being spent apart, and you learn more about what happened to Caden on the ship when he was, like, blasted away. Mm-hmm. Also, Big Monster comes back. Yeah,
there's a lot of really cool things that happen in this one. Mm-hmm. Champ and I were just joking yesterday about it, because I had originally thought this was only 5 issues.
Yeah.
And Champ was like, well, they got to tie up a lot of the loose story ends here in order to, do it. And they managed to do a lot of it.
Yeah, no, they did way, like, I was not expecting that to happen, because I once again was also in the same mindset when I was reading this morning, because I was like, well, god damn it, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I hate being wrong.
Yeah, and I was right, but like mostly right.
Yeah. Mostly right.
Well, this isn't the last issue,
yeah.
is how I was wrong about it. But yeah, they finally meet up. Caden has the power of God within him. He gets angry, and power of the devil is trying to kill him, is what it seems like.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. The story's incredible.
Yeah,
I love
agreed.
this story so much.
I love the art. Yeah, the story is just really well written, and even though I still just don't like that kid, no matter what, I don't think I'll ever like that kid. But I'm always kind of just like, I'm always in here for the monkey and the whale, and then like his dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love his dad.
And especially like in the robot now too. Mm-hmm. It's pretty.
Yeah, I loved the whole thing.
Yeah,
so the dad essentially like is giving up, and the robot's like, "Why did you do this to me? Why did you make me feel? Why did you give me emotions if you're just gonna fucking give up?"
Yeah, and that was great. Yeah. Okay, so then now next we have Gideon Falls. This is issue number 18.
We stuck through it, and they finally started explaining what's going on.
There was a page where they gave us all of the explanations of what we've been reading for 17 issues. Mm-hmm. And damn, dudes, how gratifying is that?
It felt so good. That I, like, at the end of this, I set it down, and I was like, I understand what's happening now.
Yeah, no, it put the puzzle together, and it tells you more about who the Smiling Man is and what Gideon Falls means, I guess, but what it is and how it may transcend dimensions.
Mm-hmm. And that explains who Norton Sinclair is, who is the main character of this book, but not. Also, he just took the name without realizing it. So, yeah, I don't want to explain everything about it just because I feel like that takes away the excitement of the story.
For sure.
But read it. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Especially, like, to get to this point and be like, wow, all of these pieces are finally coming together and it all makes sense. And this is such an incredible story.
I was very stoked.
Oh, my God.
I was probably making more noises than I should this morning at work while I was reading it because I was just, like, kind of giggled in places.
Yeah, I read it like this the whole time. Because I was very excited. Like, this page blew my mind.
Amazing.
Yes.
And just watching... yes. Okay, so we have to stop talking about this book, otherwise I'm just going to be like...
and I'm going to read it to you, so...
Would you like to hear the good words of Gideon Falls?
Let me do this for you.
And if you don't want to hop on issue 17 or 18 or, farther down the line like we are, because that wouldn't make sense, pick up the trades, because this is one book I honestly think that people should read, especially if you're any fan of horror or psychological horror of any sort.
Yeah, it's definitely worth reading.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
You almost took off your hood.
I know.
You're a greasy boy.
I know. I have to leave it on today. So I have Hellmouth issue number 2. Champ normally has some sort of event happened yesterday.
I just was rushing out of work, and I was a cluster like...
Yeah, it was. Yesterday was a mess. But this is issue 2 of 5.
Organized chaos.
It's my middle name. This issue deals with Angel and Buffy in the Hellmouth, dealing with all these sorts of demons that are trying to prevent them from getting to Drusilla, who they're trying to kill. Angel finds out something about the Hellmouth, and he is forced to protect Buffy the entire time. So when they get separated, he fights off whatever demons he needs to and, like, rushes to her side. And, like, I'm very stoked about this because I'm normally not an Angel fan, but I just love how he's written in this story.
All right.
And how he interacts with Buffy. Yeah, I still really love this.
Can't wait to read it.
Yeah, the art, it's so good. I love the art for this one. But I don't want to give away too much, obviously, because she hasn't, like, read it yet, and I don't want to ruin it for her, but there's, like, one really funny part in it that still makes me giggle.
I guess I could talk about Fallen Angels really fast.
Yeah.
I also read issue 1 of Fallen Angels, which kind of just follows Psylocke in her journey on Krakoa.
Okay.
Basically, she feels like she needs to... She finds out that there's this god and that it can destroy the entire world.
Classic.
And so she wants to go fight and, like, protect people and win this fight. Basically fight. And that's the whole idea, is that she kind of wants to get off this island to, like, fight. So she gets to be friends with Sinister. She asks Sinister for some help to get off the island because it's on lockdown since, spoiler alert, but if you've read X-Men 2, you know Charles Xavier's assassination.
Which happened in X-Force?
X-Force issue
last
1.
week. Was that last week?
Yeah, it was last week.
Okay, last week.
So it's just kind of about her, like, going out on the out of Krakoa and trying to find out what's happening. I really actually enjoyed it.
Okay.
Once again, expectations were not very high.
And I did flip through it. The art was really good for it,
the art was really good.
I've been really impressed with all the art for the new X-Men series lately. Like, they've all been so good.
Yeah, I think all the art and most of the writing and stories have been, if, like, you know, it doesn't have to be, like, the most glorious thing I've ever read, but I feel like it's more interesting than most things like, X-Men books.
Oh, yeah. And
Normally.
I like that they're all, like, written by different people. They're all different stories, but they're all connected.
Yeah.
I think that's really fucking cool.
That is an idea I really like as well.
Okay, so speaking on that, we have X-Men issue number 2. This is a family issue.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So Cyclops takes the kids out on a mission.
Prestige, that's her name, okay. I love Cable.
Yeah, Cable's all right.
Mostly just in this issue. I'm normally not like I fucking love Cable fan, but he is really funny in this issue.
Yeah, I think it's probably just because he's just a fuck
He's
up.
an idiot.
So yeah, there's an island moving towards Krakoa, and they're kind of going on a recon mission to figure out what the fuck is happening, because that's some shit they don't know about.
Yeah, they don't know if it's like a good or a bad thing, because the island kind of came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden Krakoa's like, come here.
Yeah, and then they watched the island mate, which was kind of funny.
And upon this island, there are a species. Would you say it was just a whole different species or group of people? I don't know.
Yeah, beings.
Yeah, there are beings on this island that you find about their origins and stuff like later on, which Christopher McLucas is going to go, oh, boy!
Yeah, no, I was thinking about Christopher when I got to the very end of this book, because I was just like, he's going to fucking lose his mind. Also, look at his face.
Yeah.
I love Daddy Apocalypse.
Oh,
I'm just saying this right now. Maybe his intentions aren't the best. I can't quite figure that out right now.
Yeah, you never know.
But he's good.
Yeah, yeah. Because I did that too. I was like, oh, Daddy.
You're just being so gentle.
Yeah.
You're children.
But yeah, because, I mean, his name isn't Apocalypse anymore, but I don't know what his name is.
It's
Yes. But yeah, that's...
make a very certain face when you do it, too.
That's pretty much it. 2 islands mate, and Apocalypse is in the story.
Yeah, he is there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. We did it. We talked about comics, and we did it in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming to our hood issue.
I'm going to take the hood off so you can see why I wore a hood today. I look like one of those bombs from Mario.
A bomb?
Bomb? Yeah.
I will not take off my hood, but I guess I did.
We just didn't.
I'm just greasy.
Yeah, I didn't.
So it just like hangs in
my
my
hair.
face. Like
All
I'm
right.
a young teen.
All right.
Okay, we love you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, comics.
Bye, comics. Listens to My Chemical Romance once. I'm a grease teen. Did you